Hi everyone, my name is Nikki and this is going to be a 30-minute online yoga class through Iowa State Recreation Services. All you're going to need is either a yoga mat, grass, carpet, any kind of soft, comfortable surface for you to practice on, and maybe a water or a block or anything like that that you like to practice with. Hi you guys. So for those of you who are just joining, my name is Nikki. This is a 30-minute yoga class. All you really need is a surface to practice on, so either a mat, grass, or carpet, maybe a water. And then feel free to use the comment section throughout our class today if the music is too loud or it's too quiet or I need to speak up or anything like that. And I'll be checking them periodically throughout the class. If you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, I'm probably going to start mine soon. Almost at noon Central Time. Alrighty, so I'm going to get the music going and we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Nikki and this is yoga. We are going to start out our class today on our backs in a comfortable position. So we can allow the legs to fall out wide, the hands to rest wherever comfortable, allowing the eyes to draw closed. Taking a moment here to scan the body, noticing any areas that are tense, or any areas that may need more attention today in our practice. Releasing go of tension in the shoulders and the neck, the face, the lower back. With each breath, we're noticing the ribs expanding and the belly's rising on each inhale. With each exhale, the belly falls, the ribs contract. Bringing our full attention to the breath, keeping it the main focus of our practice today. Taking one smooth inhale together, in through the nose, followed by a grounding exhale through the nose. And starting to move with our breath. On our inhale, we'll hug both knees into the chest here. Maybe start to draw circles in the lower back, massaging the lower back.
Be my mind, don't like to think for myself all the time now. Be my soul.
We'll start to move into some core here, hugging the right knee into the chest, allowing the left leg to go out long. We can allow that foot to hover if we'd like a little bit more of a core workout. Otherwise, you can allow it to rest on the back.
Stayed up
Inhaling the knee into the chest.
Be my man.
And exhaling to switch sides.
We'll leave with all the treasure we can grab.
Inhaling, hugging our knee into our chest. And exhaling, switching sides, moving with our own breath here. Keeping the feet flexed, the legs engaged. Pressing the lower back into the mat here.
Someone said in a strawberry milkshake. Be my pride.
Taking one more on each side.
Let me take what is not mine. Be my house.
And on our next inhale, we'll hug both knees into the chest one more time. Start rocking back and forth along the spine, nice and small. Eventually making them a bit bigger, rocking all the way up into a comfortable seated position. And from here, we'll start to warm up the hips a little bit so we can bring our hands either to the sides or resting on our knees. And we'll start to draw circles, hinging at the hips, keeping the spine long. Noticing any tightness in any of these areas.
Why shoot the moon? It wouldn't be enough. Be
We'll
my
go ahead and switch directions of our circles.
head on your shoulder with damn good love. Be my head. I'll paint you a picture, darling. Be my heart.
Coming to our center, go ahead and inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. And exhaling, bringing our hands to heart center. One more time, inhaling, really lengthening through the spine. And exhaling, hands to heart center. This time on our inhale, we'll go ahead and rock forward, placing our hands in front of us into a tabletop position. Our shoulders are directly over our wrists and our hips are right over our knees. We can tuck the toes if we'd like, otherwise we can keep them untucked. And moving into our cat and cows, on our inhale, we'll go ahead and drop the belly, lifting the gaze for cow. And exhaling, rounding out through the spine, tucking in the chin for cat. Inhaling for cow. And exhaling for cat. Moving with our own breath here at our own pace. Not trying to rush or force anything. Just noticing how the body feels. Eventually coming to a neutral spine. We'll go ahead and find our first downward facing dog of the class, grounding through the fingertips. We'll go ahead and tuck the toes and lift the hips, keeping the knees bent here. Maybe pedaling out the feet, warming up those hamstrings. And starting to warm up the body on our inhale, we'll go ahead and rock forward, keeping the knees hovered this time, engaging the core to a tabletop. And exhaling back to downward facing dog. One more time, inhaling, rocking forward, hovering those knees, pressing away from the floor. And exhaling back to downward facing dog. Inhaling, our gaze is forward. We'll go ahead and travel to the top of our mats. And exhaling, forward fold. Allowing the head to hang heavy here, keeping a slight bend in the knees. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows and swaying side to side for ragdoll. Shaking the head no. And nodding the head yes, releasing no tension in the neck. And inhaling, coming to our halfway lift, bringing the to the shins, rolling the shoulder blades back, sending energy out the crown of the head. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up towards the sky. And exhaling, we'll go ahead and sink back into our chair pose. Keeping the weight back in the heels here, we should be able to lift up the toes and be able to see the toes just in front of our knees. Keeping our belly button sucked into our spine here to really engage the core. Taking one more breath here. And inhaling to rise. And exhaling, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, coming to our halfway lift. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up towards the sky. And exhaling, sinking back into our chair pose. Adding on a little bit here on our inhale, we'll go ahead and come up onto our tippy toes, reaching the arms up overhead. And exhaling, releasing down. One more time, inhaling, coming high up onto the toes. And exhaling down. Inhaling to rise. And exhaling, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling to plant the hands down on the mat, stepping our feet back, dropping the knees, untucking the toes, and sinking back into our first child's pose of the class. Allowing the forehead to rest on the mat here. Maybe noticing the warmth we've built in the body. Maybe noticing the breath is a little bit faster. Feeling our heart beating. Reminding ourselves to return to this pose at any point in our practice today. And keeping the breath the main focus. Go ahead and move into our sun salutations. On our next inhale, we'll go ahead and shift the weight forward, coming into a kneeling plank. Our shoulders are over our wrists, and our spine is long. And exhaling, squeezing the elbows in at the sides, we'll release all the way down to the mat. Inhaling, opening up the heart, pulling back on the hands for baby cobra. And exhaling, pushing back into child's pose. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward, coming to our kneeling plank. And exhaling, elbows at the sides, all the way down. Inhaling, opening up the heart for baby cobra. And this time on our exhale, we'll go ahead and tuck the toes and lift the hips, finding our downward facing dog. Inhaling, our gaze is forward. We'll travel to the top of our mats. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, coming to our halfway lift. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead. And exhaling, hands through heart center, sinking down into our chair. Inhaling to rise. And exhaling, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, we'll go ahead and plant our hands down on the mat, stepping our right foot back, finding a low lunge. And exhaling our left foot back, finding our downward facing dog. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward for high plank or kneeling plank. And exhaling, chaturanga. And our exhale, finding our downward facing dog. And gaze is forward. Inhaling, we'll travel to the top of our mats. Coming into our last sun salutation. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling for our halfway lift. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead. And exhaling, sinking back into our chair pose. Inhaling to rise. And exhaling, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, planting the hands down on the mat. We'll go ahead and step our left foot back this time, finding our low lunge. And exhaling our right foot back, finding our downward facing dog. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward, coming to high plank or kneeling plank. And exhaling, chaturanga. Meeting in our downward facing dog here. Taking one slow, deep breath in. Followed by a smooth exhale. Taking this time to recenter. When we're ready, we'll start to center the left foot in the middle of the mat. And on our inhale, we'll reach that right leg towards the sky for a three-legged dog. Doing our best not to open up that hip, trying to keep that right hip pointed towards the mat to keep our hips squared. And inhaling, we'll go ahead and rock forward into a plank position, keeping that knee hovered, really engaging the core. And inhaling back to three-legged dog. This time on our inhale, we'll go ahead and step that foot through in between the hands, finding a low lunge here. Really grounding through the feet, keeping that front knee over our ankle. And on our next inhale, we'll go ahead and sweep the arms up towards the sky for our high lunge, keeping that back heel pushed through, pointing towards the mat. We're sucking in our belly button, making sure our hips are squared here. Reaching the arms up towards the sky. And moving into a bit of a balancing pose. On our inhale, we'll go ahead and shift our weight into our front leg and come into a one-legged stork pose. Lifting that left knee towards the sky. If we fall out of it, we can just get back up. Really engaging the core here. We can stay here to balance, or if you'd like to play around a little bit, you can straighten that front leg and exhale, bending the standing leg, coming into a one-legged chair. It's very challenging. Inhaling to rise. And exhaling as slow and controlled as possible, sending that back leg back into our high lunge. We'll inhale, lifting those arms up towards the sky. And exhaling, pivoting that back foot, finding our warrior two. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward, we'll flip our front palm. And exhaling to reverse our warrior. Finding length along the right side of the body. Keeping that bend in the front knee. Inhaling, coming back to center. And exhaling to hold. Inhaling, we'll go ahead and shift our weight forward. And exhaling, bringing our knee to our elbow, reaching our left arm up towards the sky, finding our side angle. We can keep our elbow on our knee, or we can reach towards the floor, whatever feels most comfortable for us. Our gaze is through the top hand. And on our next inhale, lifting through that top arm, engaging the core. And exhaling, sinking into our warrior one more time. Inhaling, we'll go ahead and lift through the spine. And exhaling, windmilling those arms, framing that front foot, finding our low lunge. We'll go ahead and step our right foot back, finding our downward facing dog again. Taking a moment here to either drop the knees and come to a child's pose. We can find stillness and grounding in our downward facing dog. Or we can find an optional chaturanga. to our bodies and what we want out of our practice today. In taking our time, we'll all eventually meet in our downward facing dog. From here, we'll start to center the right foot in the middle of the mat this time, preparing to switch sides. And on our inhale, we'll reach our left leg towards the sky, finding our three-legged dog. Again, keeping that left hip pointed towards the mat here. And inhaling, we'll go ahead and rock forward, keeping that knee hovered, pressing away from the mat, really engaging the core here. And exhaling, sending it back into our three-legged dog. Inhaling, rocking forward. This time we'll step our left foot through our hands. Our hands are framing our front foot, finding our low lunge. Taking a moment here, taking a breath to ground through both feet. And opening up the chest. On our inhale, we'll go ahead and reach the arms up towards the sky, finding our high lunge. Making sure our front knee is over our ankle. Our hips are square towards the front of our mat. Our back heel is pushing through and sending energy out through the mat. On our inhale, we can reach the arms up overhead. Focusing on the breath here. Focusing on the strength of our bodies. And on our next inhale, we'll go ahead and transfer weight to that front leg and lift that right knee up towards the sky, finding our stork pose. If we can't do it all together, we can step and then reach. Bringing the hands to heart center. And we can stay here if we'd like, or if we'd like an extra challenge, we can try straightening that foot. And exhaling, bending through that standing leg, finding a one-legged chair. Breathing through this pose. We'll inhale together. And exhaling as slow and controlled as possible, bringing that back leg back, finding our high lunge. We'll go ahead and inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. And exhaling, pinning that back foot, opening up into our warrior two on this side. Our gaze is through our front hand here. We're focusing on the breath. Grounding out through the feet. And on our inhale, we'll go ahead and shift our weight forward, flipping our front palm. And exhaling, reversing our warrior. Finding length along the left side of the body this time. And inhaling, lifting with that left arm. Exhaling, sinking into our warrior two. This time on our inhale, we'll go ahead and shift our weight forward. And exhaling, bringing our elbow to our knee, our right arm up towards the sky. We can keep our elbow on our knee, or we can reach towards the mat, whatever feels best for our practice today. Playing with how much weight we need in our left hand. Our gaze is through that top arm. Doing our best to engage our core. And inhaling, reaching with that top arm. We'll go ahead and exhale, finding our warrior two one last time. And bringing our hands to our hips, we'll go ahead and point both toes towards the edge of our mat. Inhaling, reaching up towards the sky. And exhaling, hinging at the hips, folding forward here. Keeping the knees slightly bent. Allowing the head to hang heavy. You can play around with what feels good, maybe bending one knee at a time. Finding a stretch in the inner thigh. Or maybe we'd like to find a twist here. You can go ahead and center the left hand in the middle of the mat. And on our inhale, we'll reach our right arm up. Doing our best not to sink into that hip, trying to keep our hips squared. Exhaling, releasing back down. Switching sides, centering the right hand. Exhaling together. And on our inhale, we'll reach our left arm towards the sky. Our gaze follows. Taking one more inhale together. And exhaling, releasing back down to the mat. Taking one more moment to find whatever feels good for you, feels good for our bodies, any stretches. And when we're ready, we'll go ahead and bring our hands to our hips, taking a big, deep bend in the knees, coming all the way up to the top. We'll go ahead and pivot both feet towards the front of our mat, meeting in mountain pose. Inhaling, reaching up towards the sky, and exhaling, hinging at the hips, forward fold. On our inhale, we'll go ahead and plant our hands down on our mat, stepping our feet back, dropping the knees, allowing our chest to melt all the way onto the mat. And finding our locust pose here. Our hands are by our chest, our elbows are squeezed together. We'll go ahead and inhale, lifting the chest off of the mat, maybe lifting the feet up too if it feels good. Pulling back on the hands, really engaging the back here. Taking one more inhale, and exhaling, releasing back down. Doing this one more time. We can keep the hands by our chest, or we can try allowing them to lay by our sides, palms up. Taking one, exhale together. And inhaling, lifting the feet and the arms, opening up the heart here, engaging the whole back. Taking one more inhale together. And exhaling, releasing onto the mat. Planting our hands on the mat here, we're gonna find a supine twist. Bringing our right knee as close to our hand as possible. We'll bring our left hand across our bodies. And on our exhale, we'll open up towards the sky, allowing the right arm to fall across our bodies. The gaze follows. Inhaling, bring our right arm back towards our chest. Our left arm comes back, bringing that right knee down. Switching sides, our hands are by our chest. We'll bring that left knee up towards our elbows as best as we can. Our right arm is going to go across our bodies. And our left arm is going to open us up into our twist. Our gaze is over our left hand here. Really breathing into this pose. When we're ready, we're just gonna come all the way onto our backs, untwisting the spine. Facing the other side of our mat now. We'll go ahead and inhale both knees into the chest here. Maybe drawing circles, noticing how we're ending class the same way that we began. And on our inhale, we'll go ahead and send our legs out long, reaching the arms up overhead. Finding our good morning stretch. And exhaling, releasing the arms wherever comfortable. Allowing the legs to fall out wide, taking up as much space as we need. Preparing for our final Shavasana. Allowing the eyes to draw closed here. Allowing the limbs to become heavy. Appreciating this stillness, this rare moment of quiet. Like to enjoy this feeling a little bit longer, I invite you to close down the video and take this time for you. If we're ready to come out, we can start wiggling the toes and wiggling the fingers, waking up the body, maybe rocking the head side to side, massaging the back of the head. We can go ahead and roll to one side. And using our arms, pressing ourselves up to a comfortable seated position at the top of our mats. Keeping our posture here, bringing our hands to heart center. Allowing the eyes to draw closed. Taking one more moment to thank ourselves for coming to our mats for our practice today. Taking a moment to honor our bodies for all that it's allowed us to do throughout our practice. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for coming to my class. Again, if you kind of joined halfway, my name is Nikki, and this was a 30-minute online yoga class through Iowa State Recreation Services. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys liked it as much as I did. I always say this at the end of all my classes, but Iowa State Recreation Services has a lot more than just yoga on their website. They have HIIT classes, core classes, Pilates, basically everything that we already offer when we're normally at school. So if you want to try something new, I definitely recommend going online and seeing the schedule of live fitness classes. All of the classes are here on the Instagram, so feel free to go check them out. They're all 30 minutes. Most of them you don't need equipment, so they're really fun to do at home. But yeah, this was a yoga class. My name is Nikki. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I don't really see any questions, so I think I'm gonna end the video, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.